Now, Mukuru, one of the largest money transfer providers in Africa, has grown its customer base to over 13 million across Africa, Asia and Europe. Today, we look into how emerging entrepreneurs can build and sustain businesses, particularly on the African continent, where regulations are stringent for new entrants. Mukuru Group CEO Andy Jury joins us for more insights. Thank you so much for your time, Andy. Of course, we're going to be looking at the landscape of the payments system, particularly in Africa, but also really how Mukuru helps businesses grow. So let's start off with, because you've been 20 years into existence in the financial services sector. What has the evolution of the payments landscape in Africa looked like?
Hi, Zanati. Lovely to be with you today. Thank you for this opportunity. It's been an amazing journey over the last 2 decades. Sometimes it feels like we're only getting started. And really, when you look at the opportunity ahead of us, it feels like we only scratched the surface. I think when we started out 2 decades ago, there were very few businesses that were looking to bridge the cash and digital divide. Why do I mention this? Because most Africans, and the biggest opportunity in the financial services ecosystem, from our opinion, exists in this informal, over-the-counter, cash-to-cash, and quite fragmented world in which people transact informally. And so, we started out trying to build a business that could take customers on a journey towards greater degrees of financial inclusion by helping them send money back home, either domestically or internationally. And given that we built up a fairly significant customer base, have now broadened the scope of the capabilities that we build to help them send, store, or spend. So we still love remittances or cross-border money transfers because it's an amazing product that renews itself every month. We try and help people store their money digitally, which is a key sort of a jump in the sort of journey towards greater degrees of financial inclusion and digitization. And then we help them use that money to sort of pay or spend.
Well, actually, just on that, I mean, what are the key problems that you aim to solve for your clients?
Essentially, if I take a typical customer journey where we're engaging with somebody to help them send money home, most of our customers have embarked on these journeys of great personal sacrifice, where they've left their home, they've gone on a journey in search of economic opportunity, they make some money, and then they typically are looking to send anything up to 70% of their hard-earned wages home. And because they can't get a bank account, they might not have the right documentation, they may feel intimidated by a formal banking environment, they typically end up only being able to use informal means to send their money home, which means they've got to take time off work, which costs them money. They've got to jump into a taxi and go to a sort of downtown. Typically, they happen in sort of transport modes like bus stations or train stations. They've got to find somebody who speaks their language. They've got to negotiate a fee. The money sort of disappears into this, communicationless void for anywhere up to 2 weeks, and then it might get to the other side. And so that's quite a friction-full process. Which means it's difficult to get the money home, and that's the primary reason why you embark on this journey to start with. And so we looked at this and thought there must be a better way, given the sort of democratization and access to simple technologies, to help people do that. And so slowly over the last 2 decades, we've built up a capability that I suppose we talk about bridging borders and fueling dreams. If you can get access to a mobile phone and you have a means of identifying yourself with a passport or a driver's license or something, then we can essentially enable you to use our payments ecosystem to get that money home instantly. And so it takes a friction-full process and hopefully provides customers with this transformative experience. So they like using our capabilities, they increase their levels of trust in our digital propositions, and then we have a long relationship with them over time.
Well, Andy, it's quite interesting because there have been quite a number of fintech players that have entered the space to really serve underserved communities. And I'm wondering, I mean, is the pie of opportunity big enough? Because you also even have the telecoms going into that space. Is that pie of opportunity big enough? And how really do you position yourself there to kind of make your offering attractive?
So we still think that 65 to 70% of Africans operate in this informal ecosystem.
Yeah.
So your answer to, is the pie big enough? Absolutely. I think we're only getting started. Most formal propositions require you to have a bank account or a digital store of value to use their capability. I think we differentiate ourselves by saying we want to put ourselves in the shoes of our customers, walk this journey with them, and you don't have to have a digital store of value to use our capabilities. As long as you have a phone and a means of identifying yourselves, you can use all the digital communication channels, and we can digitize that relationship over time. So we don't see digitization as this big binary switch. We digitize your customer record because that allows us to treat you as a customer and not as an account or a series of transactions. We digitize the communication with you. We digitize the channels that you use, and we make use of everyday channels like USSD or WhatsApp as digital capabilities alongside our app. And only later on in that journey, once you've built up trust, and we've demonstrated that we can solve problems for you instantly, we suggest that maybe a digital wallet or a bank account as a store of value is a very good thing. And once you get people to that stage in their comfort and journey, then you open up this transformative world of financial services that you and I take for granted on a daily basis. And so I think it's the understanding that you can have a digital transaction but still have strong on and off ramps to a sort of cash informal world that hopefully sets us apart from other offerings in the minds of our customers.
And I'm wondering, Andy, just as we wrap up the conversation, because I mean, you also operate in countries in Africa where the business environment for some is seen as hostile, where it's not easy to do business. Have you built, a sustainable muscle to operate in those countries? And is the digital element of it really the buffer, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about not drawing straight lines in Africa.
Yeah.
No 2 days are the same. I think to exist in a digital or sort of fintech world in Africa, you also have to have very strong logistics and on the ground capabilities. And so we have operations in 15 territories. I think 14 of them are in Africa, and we have teams on the ground. So we work very hard to build that local knowledge, understanding, capability, and hopefully standing in the business communities with regulators and other business partners, whilst leveraging the benefits of having a digital solution that you can scale across borders. And that's, no two operating environments are the same. That's one of the challenges and the opportunities in Africa. And so you have to pay some school fees and learn over time, what is common and what's unique to these environments.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your insight there, Andy. Really, really appreciate it. That was Andy Jury, Group CEO of Mukuru.